Hello, everybody. Welcome back from spring break. I hope that you are all healthy and well and hanging in there and social distancing. Um, I have definitely been missing you all, and I look forward to seeing you in office hours. They are continuing 1 to 2 p.m. every day. So looking forward to the rest of the year, we are going to start the blood unit and the cardiovascular system today, and that's going to take us a couple weeks, and then we'll either do the reproductive system or the respiratory unit. I'm going to have a link up that you can click which one you would rather do. Typically I do the reproductive system at the end of the year, but I feel like the respiratory system is kind of really relevant right now, so I just want your input. I am reading your exit tickets. There has been a lot of requests for more Chester. So here's Chester. He's not really having it with me right now. He does not want to be on camera, but here he is. You gotta give the people what they want, Chester. He does not want to be here. Okay, so he's gonna go off and take a nap. Let's go over our intro to blood. So this, you can call this intro to blood or blood day 1. We have 2 or 3 days of blood work, and then we have 3 or 4 days of cardiovascular system, so it's like hearts and blood vessels. Okay. I've been sent a link of virtual dissection, so hopefully maybe we'll get to do one of those. I'm really bummed about our lack of dissection this year. I was very excited. So yeah, that stinks, but we're gonna make the best of it. Okay, so going into this, your bell work, or before we get really started, I want you to take like 20 seconds, pause the video, and write down the answers to these 4 questions based on your best knowledge. So, what is the purpose of blood? What kind of tissue is blood? What is the difference between a white blood cell and a red blood cell? And what would happen to your body if you lost a lot of blood due to an injury or during surgery? So, pause the video, write down those answers, think about it. Okay, so, oh no. Before we get too into it, your objectives for the day, you're going to be able to make observations of microscopic slides and identify various components of blood and summarize the function and location of the formed elements found in blood. Those are red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. This is a 2-minute and 42-second video that is going to be linked on Haiku. That gives you just like a very quick rundown of each of the formed elements, and it's a pretty good little video. Usually we watch it in class, so I highly recommend that you just take like 2 minutes and 42 seconds, watch it really quick after you're done with this video. It'll be a helpful review. So, what is in your blood? If you were to get your blood drawn, and they were to put it in a centrifuge, which is a device that spins really fast, and they spun that vial of blood really fast, it would separate based on density, okay? So your plasma would be at the top. The plasma is the matrix of the blood, okay? So blood is a connective tissue, and so that means that it has a matrix, and in the case of blood, it is plasma, so it's like a watery in between the cells part of your blood. It's 55% of whole blood, and it's least dense component of blood, so it floats. Under that, there would be what's called a buffy coat, and what that has in it is your leukocytes, which are your white blood cells, and your platelets. They make up less than 1% of your whole blood. And then the bottom 45% are your erythrocytes. So erythrocytes are your red blood cells, and they are the most dense component of your blood. Okay, the leukocytes, platelets, and erythrocytes are known altogether as formed elements. Okay, so starting out with plasma, like I said earlier, sorry, this isn't like in writing, but it is the extracellular matrix of your blood, and it's got a lot of water in it, but it has other things in it too that suspend your leukocytes and your erythrocytes and allow your blood to flow. Okay, it's what makes your blood liquid. Okay, erythrocytes. These are your red blood cells. So erythrocytes, erythro means red, so that's your red blood cells. Your erythrocytes do not have a nucleus, so they are called biconcave in design. That's biconcave, and that means that both sides are concave. And these roll down your blood vessels, and they carry oxygen and CO2. So they take oxygen from your lungs and they carry it down to the different parts of your body. And then in capillaries, they trade that oxygen for carbon dioxide, and then they take that carbon dioxide all the way back up to your lungs, and then you exhale it. Okay, so that's red blood cells, erythrocytes. Okay, their function is transport. Okay, hemoglobin is the iron in your blood, and it is one of the things that makes your blood red. It consists of globin and 4 hema groups. So know that it's like if you have anemia, you have a low hemoglobin count. Okay, leukocytes. These are white blood cells. With leukocytes, we have what are called granular and agranular, or granulocyte and agranulocyte. And what that means is some of these have grains on them or little proteins on them, and some of them don't. Okay, so the granulocytes are the ones that end in "-phil". So we have eosinophil, basophil, and neutrophil. And then the agranular sites are without granules. You have the monocytes and the lymphocytes. We're going to run through each one. So granulocytes. The first one is called a neutrophil, and it has a multi-lobed nucleus. It is pale red and blue cytoplasmic granules. It has pale red and blue cytoplasmic granules. Sorry, guys, it's getting back in the swing of things after spring break's been rough. So, this one, you can tell it's a neutrophil because it has multi-lobes. So notice it. This one has 1, 2, 3 lobes in the nucleus, and it's got like a pinkish outside, and then the nucleus stains pretty purple. Its function is to target bacteria and fungus. Okay, target bacteria and fungus. The next one is an eosinophil, and this one I always think looks like Deadpool. So it stains red, and it also has what's called a bilobed, so 2-lobe nucleus, and that stains purple. Okay, so eosinophil. It targets larger parasites such as worms and modulates your allergic inflammatory responses. So if you are allergic to something, it's your eosinophils that are kicking in to be like, immune response, immune response. Next one is your basophil, and it also has a bilobe nucleus, but it's really hard to see because it has these purplish black cytoplasmic granules. So the one that always looks really dark is the basophil. It also does allergic reactions. So your eosinophil and your basophils both are responsible for allergy response. Basophils excrete heparin, which is a blood thinner, and a histamine, which widens your blood vessels. So your histamine also is, never mind, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. So basophils, allergic reaction, immune response. Okay, agranulocytes. So these black granules. The first one is a lymphocyte. This is also known as your killer T cells. They ID foreign cells in the body and attack. These have large spherical nuclei. Notice this nucleus takes up most of this cell, and then it has a thin rim of pale blue cytoplasm. So that's a lymphocyte. And then the other agranulocyte is called a monocyte, and it also has this kidney-shaped nucleus, but it has more of that pale blue cytoplasm. So notice these don't have those red dots. Those red dots are granules. This is an agranulocyte. It doesn't have any granules. This function is to fight bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Okay, I believe we're going to try to identify 3 cells. So, oh wait, no, platelets. Sorry, platelets first. Platelets do blood clotting. They are these little yellowish things, and they will come and they will stick together and they will make a clot to stop you from bleeding at a broken blood vessel. Okay, now we're going to do some, try to identify. So take a moment with each one. You might want to pause it and look through what you've written down and try to identify each one. We got 3. So the first one, notice it's bilobed nucleus and it's red stain. This is a eosinophil. So that is a granulocyte. Okay, next one. Notice this one might not have the granules and it's kidney-shaped nucleus. So that would make that a monocyte. And then the last one, this one would be bilobed nucleus, if you could see the nucleus, but it has a bunch of those really dark purple granules on it. So that makes that a basophil. I'm going to post these slides so you can look at each one of them more in depth and like actually draw them and not just look at it for 30 seconds. So these slides will be up on Haiku so you can get a better look at the different kinds of white blood cells. Okay, so this is for your exit ticket. What I want you to do is to identify words that you think are important from today's lesson. Pause this video, take 2 minutes, write down as many as you can. Here's my sample list. You might come up with more. So I got agranular, basophils, eosinophils, plasma, platelets, white blood cells, red blood cells, lymphocytes, leukocytes, all these words. Like I said, you might have different ones. That's okay. And then I want you to do what's called a connect for. So find 2 words that you believe in connect some way and explain how they connect. And then add a 3rd word and explain that connection, and then add a 4th word and explain that connection. So, for example, I have my first 2 words are eosinophils and neutrophils, and they both are granular, which is my 3rd word. So granular means that they have granules, and they are leukocytes, so leukocytes are white blood cells. Okay, so you want to come up with a sentence that's like this for your exit ticket. Don't use mine. You can come up with a different one. Yeah, looking forward to that. Your IP tonight is to read an overview of blood, which is posted on Haiku, and complete IP number 1. I know that you guys don't have copies of hard copies of this now because we are onto a new packet. So you can answer the questions, you can either type them or you can answer them on a piece of paper. Either way is fine with me. I can put up an editable Word document that you can go in and type answers to. Just whatever works best for you to turn in this homework. Okay? Hey, thanks for sticking in anatomy. I know that you guys had options to drop classes that you don't need to graduate. Anatomy, I think, is a really great class, and that it is super relevant and important because we all have bodies and we all benefit from knowing how they work. So I really appreciate all of you. Email me if you have questions. Come to my office hours 1 to 2 p.m. I will see you there. See you later.